Introducing my submission for the newest Coronation meal. I am taking elements of the classic KFC meal, elevating them, and making it fit for a king, specifically King Charles. Allow me to present to you the KCF, or King Charles Feast, my Coronation special. As it's a feast for a king, we're going all in. Let's start with the overnight components, beginning with the mashed potatoes. And I couldn't resist using these King Edward potatoes to fit the theme. Kentucky Fried Chicken offers a creamy mash. The King Charles Feast is going to have deep fried mash. Because what food is not improved by deep frying? To make this, we start by peeling and dicing the potatoes. I'm going for more of a pomme puree here, so I want the dice quite small to help get it really smooth. Once that's all chopped up, get it into a pan of cold water, season with some salt, and bring it over to the hob to bring to a boil. Simmer for about 15 minutes or until the potato is fully cooked. If you've seen me make mash before, you know I have to add some infused cream. So while the potatoes are cooking, I'll warm up some double cream with a bay leaf for that extra goodness. When the potatoes are done, drain them and return to the hob to steam dry for a few minutes. The drier and fluffier we can get these potatoes, the better they will rise. Now we move on to constructing the mash. Using a ricer gives us a much smoother and finer potato mix, so I load up my ricer and get the potato nicely broken down. When all the potato is riced, we can pour over our luxurious cream, add a good hit of salt, and combine everything until smooth. I mean, this has to be my best idea yet. The mash is fluffy, smooth, creamy, and it's going to be deep fried. I cannot wait. A touch of fresh nutmeg will work nicely here, and because when I said we were going all in, I meant it, I'm adding some cold cubes of butter to make it even more velvety and delicious. Take some time to enjoy your masterpiece. Then, in order to firm it up so it fries better, I'm popping it in the fridge overnight. With that step done, we can move on to the next element, the coleslaw. Now, in my opinion, the greatest veg is the broccoli, so I'm actually making a broccoli slaw, which involves using the flesh of the broccoli stems. Trust me, don't knock it till you try it. Obviously, we need broccoli, so remove as much of the stem as possible, but try to keep the head whole if you can. I have plans for you later. Then cut off the hard end and sides to get to the edible flesh, and maybe take the opportunity to break the world record for stacking broccoli slices on a knife. Ah, so close. Never mind. Anyway, carrying on with the slice. And take some time to get a nice thin julienne slice. Slaw definitely works best with thin matchstick-like components. Using a mandolin could also work for this. If you need some more of the stem, you may need a second broccoli head, and you can use the top in another dish so as not to waste it. Once the broccoli is prepared, we need to do the same for the carrot and green apple. The apple helps with a bit of sharpness so it's not too bland. For the carrots, I found some theme-perfect ones, but they were quite hard to julienne, so I don't recommend you use them. But however you get there, it's going to taste great. Grab a large bowl and assemble the veg, apple, and mayonnaise. I much prefer a creamier slaw, especially for a luxury feast such as this, but use as much mayonnaise as you prefer. For a bit more flavour and depth, add a dash of apple cider vinegar, and I like a dollop of sour cream as well to mellow out the mayo a bit. Mix it all together and you've got a wonderfully creamy yet super healthy slaw for those less inclined by eating raw cabbage and onion. Taste for seasoning, and then leave overnight as well to let everything develop for a bit more taste. Now it's time for the headline act, the chicken. KFC's 11 herbs and spices are arguably the king of fried chicken seasoning, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm actually using the KFC recipe from Binging with Babish for this one, as it's damn near perfect. So big thanks to Andrew Rea for providing this incredible recipe. Into a large bowl goes the buttermilk, and then we add the seasoning. Here we go. 2/3 teaspoon salt, 1/2 teaspoon thyme, 1/2 teaspoon basil, 1/3 teaspoon oregano, 1 teaspoon celery salt, 1 teaspoon black pepper, 1 teaspoon dried mustard, 4 teaspoons paprika, 2 teaspoons garlic salt, 1 teaspoon ground ginger, 3 teaspoons white pepper, and then to top it off, 3/4 teaspoon of the glorious MSG. That's a lot of flavor. Now, in true binging with Babish style, it's a tiny whisk to combine and let everybody get to know each other. Add the chicken to the mix and make sure all the chicken is nicely covered. Then realize why people wear gloves when they do this. Bear with me. There, clean again. Cover that up and leave overnight for maximum flavor. Grab yourself a quick nightcap and we will pick this up tomorrow. New day, new food. All our components should be well rested, so let's get cooking. For the potatoes, I'm adding some grated cheddar to provide that stretchy cheese element, which should work very nicely. Add that with some garlic powder and get everything mixed together. When all is combined, it's time for the breading. Grab 2 wide bowls, fill one with 2 eggs, lightly beaten, and the other with Panko breadcrumbs. What I like to do is crush them a bit by hand, so we get a mix of finer crumbs to help coat the entire ball, and larger chunks for that nice crunchy texture after frying. Then grab a handful of your cheesy mash and roll into a golf ball-like shape. Remembering to keep one hand for wet and one for dry, coat the ball first in the eggs, and then transfer over to the breadcrumbs. Really make sure the whole thing is coated, otherwise we may have a mini disaster when deep frying. When you're happy, place that on a separate plate and repeat for the rest of the remaining mash. After you're done, I recommend storing these in the fridge until ready to fry, so the mash doesn't overcook. Next, let's get the chicken ready. Grab it from the fridge and remove the cover. Then, find something wide like a roasting tin and add 240 grams of flour and then the same herbs and spices as before. Don't forget the MSG if you've got it. Tiny whisk everything again and we're ready to add our chicken. Thankfully, I just remember in time that the recipe calls for adding a few drops of the marinade to create nice crunchy bits. I definitely recommend doing this. It is super delicious once fried. Mix that in a bit and then add the remaining chicken. The recipe recommends leaving these for about 10 minutes first, so let's have a go at the mashed potato balls in the meantime. So, grab your oil of choice. I'm trying corn oil as I'm hoping for a darker golden colour for my fry. You don't need a deep fryer to do this, but I find it makes maintaining the oil temperature so much easier, so I would highly recommend getting one if you can. Bring the oil up to 190 degrees centigrade and drop the potato balls carefully in and let cook for 2 minutes. Once golden brown and piping hot, remove from the oil and leave on a paper towel. The result is incredible. A delicious, crispy exterior that falls away to that glorious mash inside, only to get that cheesy goodness on top. This may actually beat the chicken as my favourite element of the feast. Anyway, back to the chicken. I actually forgot to film adding in the corn flour, I realised. Definitely something worth doing. Here you can see what the batter looks like without it added. It's more KFC-like, but not that extra crunchy we all crave. I made the rest with the corn flour added, and let's see how that turns out. Add that to the 190 degree centigrade oil, and cook for about 8 minutes or so, depending on the size of the chicken. While the chicken is cooking, we need the final element, the sweet corn. Simply boil the corn on the cob, but to jazz it up, we'll melt some salted butter with a few spoonfuls of mango chutney. What you get is a wonderfully golden, sweet and salty butter that is simply heavenly. With that done, let's get the chicken and begin plating up our King's Feast. In order to do this justice, I've got just the thing. A London plate here seems very befitting. Then we'll start with a ring mold for the broccoli slaw. The mayonnaise should have thickened a bit overnight, making it perfect to mold. Absolutely perfect. Next, I'll grab the corn on the cob and coat very liberally with the mango butter. Wow. As the butter has cooled, it's become this beautiful, glossy, golden topping that will make you wonder how you ever ate corn on the cob before. After that is our deep fried mashed potato balls. I'm just using 2 for now, but you absolutely feel free to chuck on more. I'll place the chicken front and center. It is the star after all. You can see the corn flour has added more body to the coating, giving a bit more crunch. And now for the crowning moment, literally. I steamed the broccoli top from before to use as a beautiful crown to sit atop this glorious feast. Maybe too much broccoli for one sitting, but it's a coronation special. My hands are tied. I'll finish this off with some sea salt flakes and chives as garnish, and what we have in front of us is the first official King Charles feast. Beautifully fried chicken, sweet buttery corn on the cob, a fresh vibrant broccoli slaw, and the most indulgent mashed potato you'll ever have, all crowned by the king of veg, the broccoli. All that's left to say is enjoy. You'll be eating like kings tonight. If you enjoyed this video, please give it the old thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe. I'd love to see you again. Until then, get cooking, and may the Zen be with you. One hand.